It's been a busy week here in the Inland Northwest, so let's get you caught up with the KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Cody Proctor. Thanks for watching. Over the next half hour, we'll take a look at some of the news you might have missed from the past week here in the Inland Northwest. Let's get started with one of the week's biggest stories.
Charlie Kirk, a right-wing political activist, died Wednesday after being shot in the neck at Utah Valley University.
I run the largest pro-American student organization in the country.
Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, an organization for young conservatives, was known for inviting and engaging in political debate on college campuses.
This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim.
President Trump announced Kirk's death on social media and ordered flags to be lowered to half-staff throughout the nation. At a Wednesday evening press conference, authorities said they are still working to piece together details surrounding the shooting.
The shot came from here on campus, from a location at a potentially from a roof, yes.
Authorities vowed to bring those responsible for the shooting to justice.
To whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law.
Kirk's death comes in the wake of a spate of recent politically motivated violence, including the assassination attempt of then presidential nominee Donald Trump in 2024 and the shooting of two Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses in June. In Washington, a moment of silence was held for Kirk on the House floor. Kirk, 31, leaves behind a wife and two young children. Torian Small, CBS News, Washington.
Well, we've learned the state has set a release hearing for Kevin Coe, known as Spokane South Hill Rapist. Today, I talked to Washington State Republican Senator Mark Schessler, who is speaking out, saying crime-friendly bills passed by Democrats are making it easier for criminals like Kevin Coe to be released. The Department of Social and Health Services say Coe no longer meets criteria as a sexually violent predator. He could be released from prison within 24 hours after a release hearing, which is scheduled for October 2nd. Kevin Coe was sentenced to life plus 75 years after he was convicted of multiple rapes in Spokane in the early 1980s. The state says because of his age and health, Coe would be released to a care facility somewhere in either Pierce or King County. He would still be a registered sex offender. State Senator Mark Schessler told me over the phone he was alerted of Coe's possible release from an email he received from DSHS. The senator added he lived on Spokane South Hill at the time of Coe's crimes and says it's unbelievable the state would consider releasing him.
Kevin Coe is one who has never acknowledged guilt or asked forgiveness and really never accepted treatment. With all of these things, he should not be released. And if you have any empathy for the victims, he should not be released.
Senator Schessler says he now wants to pass a law in 2026 to make it harder to release serial rapists. Currently, he is looking at what can be done constitutionally to create this new law. Now, I have reached out to Democratic Senator Marcus Riccelli, who represents Spokane, to get his perspective on this issue. He said in a statement, Kevin Coe is right where he belongs. The news of his potential release is incredibly concerning, especially for the victims and their families who are still dealing with the trauma from the horrible pain and suffering he inflicted on innocent women in Spokane several decades ago. Senator Riccelli continued to say he will support policies that protect people from crimes like Coe's. Now, I read Senator Riccelli's statement to Senator Schessler. Schessler's response, he is hopeful Senator Riccelli would co-sponsor a bill with him to ensure serial rapists cannot be as easily released from prison. I'm reporting in the newsroom, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
The Let's Go Washington organization got 4 laws changed in the state last year. If they can get enough signatures, they're hoping to change 2 more this year. The one constant, the man behind the push.
You're back. I never really went away.
Brian Haywood made a name for himself last year.
800,000 people said, we're tired of Olympia ignoring us.
His Let's Go Washington organization got 7 initiatives up for votes, thanks in part to more than $5 million of his own money.
Someone has to stand up and fight back. And what I think I've done is I've given voice to 1.2 million people who signed at least one of our initiatives.
546,000.
Voters supported the organization's initiative restricting natural gas use in the state. Haywood's efforts successfully overturned the state law limiting police chases, and legislators passed the group's initiatives to ban income taxes and to guarantee rights for parents accessing school records.
House Bill 1296 protects the safety and privacy of Washington's K-12 students.
But earlier this year, Governor Bob Ferguson signed a bill overhauling that Parents' Bill of Rights initiative.
It stripped all the parts about parental notification or parental access to information.
So Haywood's organization is back, gathering signatures again to throw out the recent law, restoring their initiative. The other campaign starting today, an initiative requiring physicians to assign genders to youth athletes. Those considered males would not be allowed to compete against females.
Allowing biological males to compete in girls' sports is a blatant, flagrant violation of Title IX, I would argue, and also extremely unfair to girls who've worked really hard to get in a position to be top athletes.
Let's Go Washington didn't win them all last year. Moves that would have thrown out the state's climate law, the long-term care savings program, and the capital gains tax all failed. But Haywood thinks voters will back this year's measures.
I think that common sense has been just beaten down in such a horrific way in this state that you start back and you take your wins. And 4 out of 7, I'm pretty happy with what we did, and we're not done.
If they can get enough signatures by the end of the year, these would be initiatives to the legislature, meaning lawmakers would either have to pass the initiatives or punt and let the voters decide next November. I did ask Brian Haywood if he has any intention of running for office himself. He said right now he's just focused on these 2 initiatives for next year, but he did not say no.
As we go to break, here's a check of your forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Each weekend, we walk you through headlines for the past week in the Inland Northwest.
Well, I'm standing outside the Spokane County Public Works building where a swearing-in ceremony took place in the last hour for the brand new Spokane County prosecuting attorney, Preston McCollum. There was a thorough nominee process for the position of Spokane County prosecutor position, and 3 candidates were up for the job after Larry Haskell, who previously held the position for 10 years, resigned in July. The 2 other candidates that did not receive today's motion for the position were Marshall Casey and Steve Garwin. Now, Preston McCollum did serve as the interim prosecuting attorney for the county previously after Haskell resigned.
The biggest challenge that we have is, again, growth within the county and dwindling state resources. Those are some of the challenges that are facing our community most. They're the challenges that our Board of County Commissioners is going to be facing, and I'm looking forward to partnering with them to address the problems that we face. Thank you.
All 3 candidates were nominated by the Spokane County Republican Party, a procedure followed by the Washington State Constitution. After each candidate presented a 30-minute public interview in front of the Board of Commissioners, the commissioners discussed privately before announcing their choice of Preston McCollum. Now, McCollum has served the prosecutor's office for the last 10 years, and in 2023, he was named head of the criminal division. He had his 4 children and his wife here celebrating at the ceremony. I'm reporting here in Spokane, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
To give a clear, concise view of what we think.
Strong words from Spokane neighbor Ivan Joseph Brooks advocating the importance of attending Spokane City Council meetings. And his view on when they should be held is just as strong.
Have it in the middle of the week on Wednesday.
Right now, council meetings are held every Monday at 6 p.m. at City Hall and have been for several years. But council members say there's been a push from concerned citizens who worry holding meetings on Mondays limits turnout.
A lot of those issues come from it being at the end of a weekend, and people don't have time to prepare for a council meeting on the weekend.
Spokane Councilmember Zach Sapone's advocated for the change since last year. He says the change comes from factors such as federal holidays potentially getting in the way with meeting availability and engagement.
We kind of brought these conversations up at the end of the year when we were doing our rules and thinking about our next year. And what we kind of learned at that point was like we were really just doing it without any public engagement.
Now, council members are asking the community to complete a survey asking them what day works best, why they wish to attend, and if meetings should be held every other week. From there, council will review the feedback and vote on a change that will go into effect in 2026.
Let's do a little bit more public engagement and talk to folks a little bit more to see what's best for our community.
It's a welcomed idea by Brooks, who believes Wednesday is the best day to have them.
Most people need a break halfway through the week. And getting a break that would be beneficial to the city of Spokane and beneficial to them in the long run.
Councilmember Paul Dillon released a statement on the potential meeting, saying in part, "Building a stronger Spokane begins with listening. I am supportive of us getting community feedback and making this an objective, unbiased decision. When we come together in this city, we create solutions that reflect all voices."
The survey closes on Sunday, September 21st at midnight. From there, council will vote on potentially changing the council meeting date and time in October, and if approved, that could go into effect by August. In Spokane, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
The integrity of elections has been a hot-button issue for years, and now the DOJ wants states to share more information on who's voting. This is the letter the Office of Secretary of State received on Monday from the DOJ. It's ordering the state to hand over its full voter registration database. The request also includes names, birth dates, home addresses, and driver's license or partial social security numbers. I spoke with the Secretary of State, Steve Hobbs. He told me at this point, he has no intentions of providing that personal information to the feds.
If the DOJ wants our public information, that's fine. If you want to work with us on ensuring that we're compliant, that's fine. But I'm not just going to hand over people's private information. That is absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know why they would want it.
Meanwhile, State Representative Jim Walsh, who is also the chair of the state's Republican Party, believes Secretary Hobbs should give the DOJ what it wants.
The Secretary of State should comply with the request. And the Department of Justice can do its work, can review Washington's voter registration database, the voter registration list, and determine whether there's a risk of poor maintenance, sloppy registration, or whether that risk is not large.
And we did reach out to the DOJ, but we've yet to hear back. In Seattle, Brady Wakayama, King 5 News.
Thanks Thanks for joining KREM 2 News this weekend. I'm Cody Proctor. Right now, we're taking a look back at some of the news stories from the past week. Spokane's air quality on Tuesday managed to stay in the moderate category, but it wasn't that long ago when the skies behind me was choked with wildfire smoke. Along came with it some hot temperatures. It's why the Gonzaga Climate Institute released plans like these to try to keep people safe during those conditions. Despite some hazy skies, it's a near-perfect night for the Gonzaga Running Club's first practice of the school year. A big relief after last week's poor air quality.
It feels great that it's cleared up now. I was worried the past week. The smoke tends to make my head hurt.
I'll run no matter what. I'll run in the smoke regardless, but yeah, this is definitely better conditions.
Spokane's no stranger to wildfire smoke and to extreme heat. For example, in the summer of 2021, nearly 20 people died due to heat-related causes in Spokane. According to Dante Jester with Gonzaga's Institute for Climate, Water, and the Environment, that event was a wake-up call.
Climate change isn't some future thing that we're preparing for. It's something here now that we need to work really hard to keep people safe from.
The Institute formed a collaborative group with other agencies like the City of Spokane and the Spokane Regional Health District to figure out 2 community resilience plans, one for heat, the other for smoke. They recently released the first drafts of those plans for public review. Jester says they're meant to be a framework for the future. Specific suggestions in the plans include dropping the city's heat response threshold from 95 degrees to 90 and provide free or low-cost transportation on poor air quality days.
We're in 2025 and we have the infrastructure and the resources such that no one should be dying due to extreme heat or being exposed to poor air quality.
While Jester says the resilience plans will continue to evolve, for Lane and Down, their plans to run on the trail are a go.
I'm excited to talk to new people. I'm excited to get on Centennial.
Perfect day for running, but overall, great day. Sun's out, no rain, so can't complain.
In Spokane, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News, a week in review. We hope you're having a great weekend. Let's get back to one more story you might have missed this past week.
Well, doors are officially open here at the Raising Cane's in North Spokane. As you can see right here behind me, the line is completely out the door. Traffic for the drive-thru completely out to the street as well. Now, this line is full of people that have been waiting here for close to 20 hours. Today, hundreds of hungry customers flocked to North Spokane, sleeping on the ground. Did you ever think that your love and dedication for fried chicken would make you sleep on the cold sidewalk?
For Cane's, definitely.
Backing up traffic.
It's also my first time, so we'll see.
Wow. So you guys have never been to Raising Cane's before, yet you chose to literally sleep outside for it?
Like I said, it was kind of like a last minute thing. We're like, if it's too long, we'll just wait a week or two. We saw it was short, so you know what, we'll camp it out. Had to wake up my roommate to come bring some chairs and blankets, so.
And waiting in lines that wrapped around the building, all to get their hands on some Raising Cane's chicken.
Oh man, 16 hours now.
Die-hard fans like Wally Bellinger set up camp overnight just to make sure they didn't miss the opportunity.
And, yeah, very much worth it. Yes, very much worth it.
During the grand opening, there were giveaways, a Gonzaga men's and women's basketball meet and greet, as well as the chance to win free canes for a year. And while longtime Caniacs like Wally know how good the food is, all eyes were on customers like our photographer Al, who got to try the food for the first time today.
Never tried canes before, so let's give it a try. Everyone's talking about the chicken strips and the cane sauce.
The cane sauce? Okay.
Good? It's really good.
Okay, out of 10, Al, what would you rate it?
At least a 9. At least a 9.
Okay, you guys heard it here first, and that's Al's official rating. A spokesperson with Raising Cane's says this is just the second location in Washington as of right now, but they do have plans to open a third one in Seattle next year. In Spokane, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
Keep it here for more news and weather updates throughout the weekend. And don't forget, you can watch our latest newscasts anytime on your schedule on KREM 2 Plus. Download and watch right now for free. I'm Cody Proctor. Thank you for watching the KREM 2 News Week in Review.